Oh, hey, look, everyone, it's Alice. Alice is back with us. Hey, Alice. We got Trapper and Jordan and Neif and Carter are here today. And we were just talking about cyberpunk in China. And I think we lost your audio, Neif.
No, I'm here.
Oh, it looked like you said something. My bad. So yeah, let's just get back into that. We were talking about cyberpunk. So yeah, to recap, it was really hyped up,
I
and
have
people.
I had firsthand experience in refunding the game.
I won $30 off of telling someone that the game will be overhyped and it's not going to be everything it's promised. It was easy cash. It's every single game nowadays. If you hype up a game for years, it's going to come out shit every single time.
They put Keanu Reeves in it. That was enough for me. I was like, all right.
That's what got a lot of people, dude. It's a very smart marketing move.
Yeah. You want to sell a game, just put Keanu Reeves in it. That's like Death Stranding. They slapped Norman Reedus in it, and it was Hideo Kojima, which I bought it because it was Hideo Kojima.
But the difference is that game was fucking fire.
I did really like Death Stranding. A lot of people didn't, but I thought it was pretty cool.
The story was amazing, dude.
I thought it was pretty.
You hated it, dude?
I hated it, bro.
No.
I can't stand it. But it's not my kind of game, so
it's very
that story had me gripped by the dick the entire time, dude.
The story was good. The story was cool, but the gameplay was just tragedy for me. I was zero fun.
I can see that. It was a lot of fucking walking.
Did you get to the part, Jordan, where Troy Baker gives you a bomb? Did you get to that?
Dude.
I can't really remember. I put quite a few hours into it, but I definitely didn't finish it.
Death Stranding spoilers. There's a part where Troy Baker gives you a bomb, and it's so fucking obvious. It's so obvious, right? Like, immediately. Like, they try to play it off like it's like you don't know, but the player obviously knows that it's him. But you can go blow up the city anyway, and like do that, which is what I did. I just pretended like I didn't know.
Dude, that story part right there about the chick, I forgot what her name was.
Yeah, that was really good.
Where he makes her walk in the rain, dude.
Fragile.
That part of the fucking story was insane.
Yeah, did you play the Metal Gear game?
The Metal Gear 5?
The Metal Gear Solid games? Yeah, Metal Gear.
Yeah.
Those are good too.
Speaking of which, I know this is off topic real quick, but starting tomorrow, Epic Games is giving away 15 free games until the 31st. There was a leaked list I got a hold of, and let me just read you off a few of these games that we're about to get.
And I'm sorry, what's going on? They're
Epic Games.
Is it any through
this
Epic
is games they're coming out with?
No. This is games they're giving out for free starting tomorrow, all the way till the 31st.
There's been some companies have been doing that here.
Yeah.
Past year or so. Are they doing it through any platform that's holding them?
No.
Or
just
straight
Epic.
Through them?
Yeah.
Just straight through them.
So starting tomorrow, we get Dying Light, then Resident Evil 7, The Witcher 3, Mass Effect Andromeda, Assassin's Creed Origins, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Evil Within 2, Far Cry 5, Fallout 4, Borderlands 3, Monster Hunter World, Dragon Age Inquisition, Horizon Zero Dawn, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, and Hitman 2, all for free.
Holy
really?
Shit.
Yeah.
That's a lot of shit.
Yeah, that's like $1,000 worth of games.
What do you do? Just go on to Epic?
Yeah, just go on to Epic every single day starting tomorrow.
Oh, so it's one game per day?
Yep.
Okay, gotcha. And I guess that'd be for PC.
Yep, for PC.
Okay.
That's what I was saying. Any of the distributors, but Epic is they are a distributor, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's their own distributor. Who is that? Is that their own company or is that one?
It's their own company.
I didn't know if it was one of the what's the name has no, I can't even think of the damn names. Some of the game companies started their own distribution.
Like CD Projekt Red has GOG. That's theirs.
That's theirs. I'm thinking Battlefield was on.
Oh
EA.
yeah.
EA's
yeah.
They got, what is that? I can't remember what that one's called, but But yeah, okay. So, but it's only through.
Yep.
It's
Only
there.
Epic. So even if you
Epic.
don't have a PC, it's wise to download Epic on a laptop or anything else and get it for free. So
Dude,
you'll have those
yeah.
games forever.
Living up to the name, that's freaking epic, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's not like super old titles. I mean they're old, but that's not, a lot of that shit's still selling.
Yeah. They're all still well, not all of them, but like I'd say 70% of those games are still $60 if you bought them today.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Which is a fucking steal.
Yeah, Fallout especially. Fallout
yeah.
still.
And Horizon Zero Dawn, it was just ported to PC.
Right,
really?
right.
That's a good game. I never finished it. I really need to finish it.
I haven't finished it either. It sort of lost my interest, but I mean, if I get it on my PC, I'll probably finish it.
It's such a unique idea. Like I love how, like I'm reading this book series right now called Perdido Street Station.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this fantasy setting, but like instead of like Tolkien-esque elves and goblins and orcs and shit, you got like the main guy's a human scientist, but he's dating this chick that has a bug for a head.
That's sick.
Yeah, and then there's like frog people and bird people, and they all live in this like metropolis city together. But it's like kind of like, I guess I would say like steampunky, because there's like drugs, and there's like a society like with politics, and it's really neat.
I'd have to check that out. Sounds super fucking cool.
Oh yeah, it's a really great read. But yeah, stuff like that, like Horizon kind of hit that same nerve for me, where it's like I've never seen giant robot dinosaurs before.
Exactly.
You know.
I've been playing a game called Immortal Phoenix Rising. It was called Gods and Monsters, and they had to change the title because they were being sued by another game company. I think Capcom was suing them because of Monster Hunter World.
I just downloaded that game.
Dude, 10 thumbs up. I'd recommend that game 100%. It's fucking amazing.
What game is that?
Immortals Phoenix Rising. It's a Uplay's version of a Breath of the Wild type game, completely open world, but it's all set on a Greek mythology. And they showed their deals. It's cool because like Zeus and Prometheus narrates the whole game as you play. Okay. And it's cool. They have the DLCs. They're not out yet, but they're already finished. And like the next DLC that comes out, it's a completely different game that's Chinese mythology. You're a completely different main character, but it's all set with Chinese mythology and beasts and stuff. It's super fucking cool though. One of the funnest games I played in a long time, because I had to set Cyberpunk down.
I think I remember seeing that on Steam.
Dude, it's amazing.
I scanned through so many. I look at a lot of early access too, and development stuff. But so I mean, the titles just
yeah,
it's real hard for me to keep up. When you're describing it to me, I think I know what you're talking about, and I think I've scanned over.
Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear me better now?
You're louder.
Okay, cool. Sorry, go ahead.
The game's being looked over right now. It was a very hyped game because the name Gods and Monsters, and then they had to change it because of lawsuit. Now no one knows what Immortals Phoenix Rising is. You're gonna skip over a game if it has a shitty title.
Right. Sometimes it looks, immediately like, is this one of those anime online?
Exactly.
Like I'm just clicking.
Yeah. Exactly. But it's been amazing so far. I mean, it's a lot of storytelling, but a shit ton of gameplay. A shit ton of game. Main story is 80 hours, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Jordan was telling me. Go ahead, Neif.
What about Microsoft buying Bethesda? Isn't that?
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah.
Yep.
Isn't that nuts? Like that's crazy.
That shocked me. They bought Mojang not too long ago.
And
then they turned around and made their own Microsoft port of Minecraft that has to be purchased separately from the original job.
Yeah.
A lot of those Microsoft exclusive games end up on other consoles like a year or two later. So I think probably it'll be Microsoft exclusive for a year or two. And then once all the bugs are worked out, it'll be on PlayStation.
Microsoft, I mean, people just think of them as the Windows company, but they've had gaming companies since I was playing on the Commodore 64. You
So
know,
what
Yeah.
we're really talking about is PC and Xbox will get Skyrim a year or two before Sony will, but Sony it'll still be on PlayStation and maybe even like whatever Nintendo's got going on.
also depending on the game company, like Microsoft, the way they do with their games, they don't necessarily have to worry about the grip on them. Like Age of Empires 2, that got released on Steam, and Microsoft opened up the rights on it, and they made another expansion for it, and you know it's virtually like I don't think it's Steam that's supporting it. It's somebody else, but it's not Microsoft. Microsoft's name is still hanging on it, but they don't worry about developing it anymore, and it's so old, you know. But because they are such a mass corporation, they don't, you know, they keep the interest wherever it is, you know. Where a lot of, you know, a lot of studios and stuff, you'll see these game companies, and you're like, what the hell happened to that title, man? What, you know, and it's like they wanted to keep doing it, and they wanted to keep doing it, but contractual weird stuff happened, and this happened, and they couldn't, and that happens so often that you get these weird intellectual property laws when you have this major giant that's like, oh, games are just an office building over here we have that deals with that. Then they're like, y'all do whatever you want, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
if it's a loss, we're writing it off as a fucking loss. We don't care, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
What about the company that did the like it's like a Fallout type game? It was a real big success, I think.
What was the title? Or
I can't remember. They left Bethesda and they made their own game. And it was like
the same people that made Fallout New Vegas. Outer
Yeah.
Worlds. Outer Worlds.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what it was.
Outer Worlds.
It was an
Yeah.
amazing fucking game.
Yeah.
Yeah, a friend of mine played that, and he said it was really great. I looked at the demo, or not the, you know, like the a couple of little trailers for it on Steam the other day, because that, for whatever reason, that just flew right by me when it was coming out, you know. And I looked at it; it did look really interesting. I did like the way I like that style,
Mm-hmm.
you know, of comedy they put, that real tongue in cheek style comedy they put into things, you know. When
It's
they do that.
I mean, I'm sure we can all agree New Vegas was the best Fallout. There's no question about it, honestly.
I mean, you know, it goes back to one of those things where it's like Morrowind was the best Elder Scrolls, but it'll be way better if and when they finish the Skywind, you know, port over that they're trying to remake. If you know about that, and
Yeah,
that'll
I've
be
seen
super
that.
dope, because Morrowind
Crazy
by
huge.
today's standards sucks, but as
Yeah.
a game, it was phenomenal. It didn't hold your hand. It was just crazy vast. And I mean, that's really, I think, where the mod world started, was with Morrowind. I mean, there's people to this day, you know, 20 years later, that are still, you can still buy the game on Steam and still get on the modding community and find crazy mods
Oh yeah.
that they, you know, but they're trying to redo it on the Skyrim engine. So yeah, it's like you're saying, it's like Fallout 4, the latest engine of it and the latest run was better. But as far as it as a game, yeah, no. I mean, I liked it, but I got too hung up in the
What do you guys
realizing
think about the idea of AI created music? Like the idea of AI creating music for us.
Have you seen the dude's videos where he starts a song and then lets it finish it for him? He starts modern day songs and then plays 3 different versions of it, like runs it through the AI 3 times, and it simulates what it thinks the rest of the song sounds like. And sometimes it gets super close to the original, and then sometimes it's just completely fucking different. But it never sounds bad, ever.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You should check out dude's videos. It's super cool.
That kind of stuff
Yeah.
is pretty freaky.
Someone, I can't remember who it was, but someone was making a point to me the other day that it probably is a lot of AI created music already because they're looking at algorithms of what we want. You could say it's borderline that already, you know?
I mean, as a producer, I can act as the non-artificial intelligence and do the same thing.
Right.
You know, if I'm telling an artist, yeah, it's a great song, but what you really need to do if you want to sell it is, you know, this or that, you know, drop this line,
that's like,
add the chorus twice, you need to hook on the outro, whatever. All that stuff is, you know, could be fed into a computer, and that's done by any major corporation has, you know,
because
a
it
tech
already
department that are
like,
sitting there going through that kind of stuff.
it already works kind of like an algorithm because that's something that's in music theory. So that's like why you have so many like pop culture songs that sound exactly alike, you know, not necessarily exactly alike, but they all sound kind of the same.
Exactly.
You know, it's because masses of people will listen to it because they're like familiar chords that are being reinforced in other songs.
And a lot of genre comes from rhythm and dance. That's why a lot of the old rhythm descriptions, samba, you know, bossa nova, all these things, these beat styles were dances because the rhythm came from the dance and you had to play that rhythm for them to be able to do that dance.
Oh, so it's like it has to be this kind of music really in order for you to do this kind of dance to it.
Right. It really came out of what dance was being done
that
to
makes
that
sense.
song.
That tells you what kind of dancing you're going to be able to do to this music.
And then so basically what we've done, and you know, once it was commercialized or marketed upon, was we figured out what is the latest thing that people are dancing to, you know, and dancing can be equated to sitting around and watching MTV or, you know, whatever the medium or the way
people absorb
the cafe
music.
The cafe in which we digest music.
Listening to it in the car, listening to it while you're working out,
right?
Like that.
You know, so and then you run into things like, well, that's real good driving music.
Yeah.
You know, because it's something you want to hear in the car. You know, so then you're kind of like, well, I mean, we don't want to call it that. So
we'll call it something else.
Yeah, this is driving rock. I play driving rock.
Cross country down travel the highway. Always on the highway. Listen to me on the highway.
Here comes another highway. Yep. You know.
Trucker rock.
I think eventually like AI is going to be able to make music. Like you said, a lot of it's probably already being produced that way. But I think like eventually like it'll be indistinguishable from other great artists.
You know, it might be better.
Well,
yeah, it'll probably be even better. You know?
It's an interesting idea to look at that like that when you're talking about AI, which is a computer for recreation. If you look at the concept of analog and digital and understand the difference, like the scientific difference in, you know, a wave that is an actual curve, and a digital wave is a recreation, so it's stair steps, you know, and the more bit you have is the tinier those stair steps. So the further away you are, it looks more like a wave, but in reality, it's never going to be a curve. It's always going to be tiny stair steps.
Mm-hmm. So I was
the idea of harmonics or infinite. So it goes back to like, if you can't feel it sonically, is it because it's lacking those harmonics? Because digital recreation will never be the same. Now, if you're applying that in an AI to creating music, would it create it so sterilely that it just, for some reason, it might be perfect? It might sound like, you know, Ingve, you know, just the most amazing playing capability, but for some reason, it just doesn't have that soul in it. You know what I mean?
That's like
I was about to say something along those lines, actually, because, you know, like, if you look at, like, AI playing games, there's, like, AI sumo wrestling against itself, like, AI is playing all these different kinds of games. And if you look at it, like, most of the time, actually, the AI will find some hack in the game, and it won't make any sense at all, and they'll just totally win the game outright.
Right.
and find some hack in whatever it is. So it's like, if we're taking that into music, AI will probably get to, if it ever reaches, like, say, the singularity, where it's they're actually conscious, self-aware, self-knowing. It might sound so foreign to us that we just don't understand what we're hearing.
Right.
But to them, it sounds like a masterpiece.
Right.
And that's just like, I think their level of like the brain only has so much bandwidth.
Well,
and if you expand that bandwidth, you know, who knows what's possible.
It's also,
I want to expand on we were talking earlier about music, how it like when it's in music you can hear when something is let's say authentic, and when something is produced with the idea of, like, okay, you have art, and then you have
control.
You have something, yeah, exactly, Carter. Like, you have some kind of control device that's, we know this is going to sell.
Like a trend controller.
Right. Like, you're observing other people's art and then you're mimicking it in a way that is going to make you money.
It's called marketing.
So there's these two kinds of art, and I think that translates into all kinds of art. Like, you see this in movies, like you see this with every form, every medium of art. You have these people that just will
capitalism.
Say they have the like
capitalizing,
like they get
on the market.
They get these like you have these like these people that will say they like revolutionize the industry. Like, they completely shows everyone a new way to do things, and then everyone starts mimicking that, right? So then it becomes a genre, and then that's yeah.
Well,
So,
a lot of that has to do with how much it sells, though. You know, if it doesn't sell, then it doesn't become anything. You know, when you get into that, because an AI would have to base its success off of the popularity of its music, and the popularity of music is based off the sale of music.
If it's not using popularity as a metric, then
then it's like any other artist.
Right.
I mean, and that's the thing, is an AI has to have its metric.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, is I don't know what kind of metric it would use except for like popularity.
Right. You know, I mean, that's like he's talking about with the cat doing you know, the music, it's finishing in itself sometimes, and sometimes between the different versions it can tell, but sometimes it's just completely outlandish, because, you know, it is basically only able to grab the information it's had. Now, if he ran that damn AI another 100,000 times with the same exact thing, with never letting it hear the end of it and just running those, each time it's going to do something different. That's a real AI. It's like a human brain. You know, when it's a problem that can't be factored to a true answer, when the answer is a variable to whatever, then a human is going to come up with a different answer every time. You know what I mean? It's going to say, or this could happen, or this could happen, or this could happen. It's going to realize that's the same thing. AI is told, an AI in essence is told to do the same thing. Keep running that problem.
You know, the best way, the best way to do it would to have many AI simulating different paths, with not having popularity as a metric, but saying, and then you would just by trial of error, you would test those on different markets and like see how they work, you know.
There's a way that you can set that up in AIs and then like have them go by generations, and then one AI will pick out all the best of them, and then it'll start a new generation of like 20 of that kind, and then the best of that out of that 20 move to the next round.
Yeah,
Just like self-learning
AIs. And its metric would be based on whatever you're classing as the best. So what you could do is get each engineer to put their list of favorite fucking music or favorite bands to give it that metric. You know, or you could run each AI as a different band member to write a different instrument part and give each of them a different band to run through its catalog to do. I mean, there's a lot of wild shit you could really play with just to see what happened, you know.
So on the subject of AI, I was having some elevated thoughts the other day, some enlightenment, and a spark of brilliance, you might say. And I was thinking like what if AI got so advanced that it like learned time travel, which I'm not sure is even a thing within physics or possible physics. If it learned time travel, what if it went back in time to ensure a reality where it was more like where that would happen more effectively, let's say. They could shape it in a way that benefited them more. So when we talk about aliens, we might just be talking about the other side in the mirror, you know?
Well, the problem with time travel going backwards is that's the one that can't be mathematically proven.
I'm just talking about if not a construct of how the universe works, a cool sci-fi flick, if nothing else.
I mean,
you know?
But the problem with doing the time travel thing is when you go back, you got the butterfly effect. So there's always that
like
fantasy land. Yeah, you got to just be like, well,
they think it's aliens the whole movie, and then at the end it's like, oh my god, it was robots the whole time.
Right.
Oh shit.
I actually thought about that before. Like, what if, if you believe in the multiverse, all of this is possible? That's the only thing.
Yeah.
So what if like Jesus is an AI that's like sent from the future to go in the past and like change the way that the culture of humanity evolves?
Robo-Jesus.
Thought of God itself. Like
Robo-Jesus theory.
Robo-Jesus
Cyber-Lord. I am your Cyber Lord.
That's definitely the name. Jordan, that's definitely gonna be the name of this episode. Robo-Jesus theory.
What if Trump's an AI?
Oh shit.
Trump is an AI.
What if he's a reptile?
He's a bot. I don't know if he's AI. He's a bot.
I don't think he's one of the reptiles, man. That's the thing is, he might be a bot. He might be some kind of bot. I don't think he's one of the reptiles.
You guys remember Annoying Orange?
Dude, I want to see the dog.
Oh yeah, bring the dog. Hey, get back here. Get back here.
Loki.
Look at me. Look at me.
Look at that butte, dude. Look at that butte.
Look at that abomination. Look at that. Look at that God's creature.
He's a good boy. That when he's not getting into stuff, so he's almost never a good boy. Actually,
at least it's not Saint, dude.
It's Saint. Oh my goodness, man!
I miss him every day.
Jordan, you've mastered the art. Yeah. You've mastered the art of owning ugly, cute dogs. You know.
Yeah, you know, that's like my specialty.
Like your whole life, you've had dogs that are adorable because of how ugly they are. You know what I mean? And that's you. You're the saint of ugly dogs.
Yeah, you know, somebody's got to be there for them.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So, do you guys think with AI going forward, how do you think psychedelics are going to interact with that?
So amazingly,
if AI goes biological, what if that's the thing? Like, what if AI determines that like they can figure out biology 100%, and that metal and oil and a computer board is not the way to go? Like,
right.
Well, what if it gets to a point that they can manufacture consciousness? Like, if we do that to a robot, and the robot is so much smarter than us, even in its earliest forms. Like, it can beat us in chess now. It can beat us in Dota. Like, it can beat us in anything, really, if you just make an AI for it.
Well, think about this. It's already on a certain level that we have nanotechnology. We actually have nanocell technology, where it's biological machinery. We have cells that have been developed, little microorganisms that have been developed that look like little gears, and they can literally make little, microorganisms that are automatrons. And this is old technology by this point. This is not even nanobot technology. This is biological experimentation. And when you think about DNA and genetics, all that is encoding.
Yes, exactly. So this is like something that is like it's not even bound to us in the future. This is something that's already happened. It's already taken place. Like biological editing, DNA, that could even be where we come from. You know, that's the whole Sumerian stories, the Enuma Elish, the whole ethos about that. You know,
I think an AI, as far as machinery, would figure out real fast that biologically speaking, animal material, non-synthetic material, is not as strong as something that it could produce.
Silicone.
Right. I mean,
silicone is the sister molecule to carbon.
Right. Well, and I mean, silicone's very abundant, you know, but it's one of those things where it's kind of like the Terminator idea, where, you know, it's machinery is still running around. Nobody's, you know, it's not really biological. It's all machinery, because the machines don't care about the planet. You know what I mean? The machines don't have to maintain an ecosystem. They can absolutely, if an AI took over, evil AI took over like Skynet and started building machinery, it might want to figure out how to use the biology, but it would know that it would be there for the use, and it would quickly know that it would be able to construct itself a world that, you know, trying to keep us alive and keep biology alive would be a hold up to it. You know what I mean? It could, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I mean, that's definitely a scenario.
Now, on its way there, it might, like 20 years of us being enslaved, and the next thing you know, towards the end of that, there's these humanoids that are showing up that are starting to replace us, and then by the end of it, they're 100 years in.
So here's the thing, I was watching this. What was it?
Oh, Transformers came from.
It was a Joe Rogan podcast. He had this guy on was talking about AI, and there was a study they did where they took a chat bot, and they took like a study of like 80 people or something, and like the chat, like they all communicated with this chat bot, and like half of them or like a third of them, something like that, said that they preferred the chat bot to their actual friends. And then like a handful of them told chatbot that they loved him. So I wonder if we'll actually we might actually, what's really interesting is we might get to a point where we actually prefer the company of AI, genuinely prefer the company of AI to actual companionship.
And that's not really saying, I don't think that's saying so much to the technology and the advancement of an AI as in the regression of a human, of society. I mean, it's kind of a sad thing. It's not like, wow, we can make AIs have grown this far. It's like, no, AIs didn't have to grow that far. We regressed back because, I mean, think about it. People are literally telling, an AI they love it.
It's not that far-fetched to think, though, because people being in love with AIs is already rampant in like countries like Japan and stuff. There's a lot of people that are marrying literally robots because they prefer the companionship over, which I can understand. They lack features that they like emotions, if that makes sense. And a lot of people don't need that emotional attachment.
It's inefficient.
Yeah.
Maybe they're drones.
Yeah, true.
So, maybe these like more natural psychedelics like mushrooms and ayahuasca, peyote, maybe they
I think that would help.
That might be that might be a push against it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Because it's natural technology. It's
machines can't understand comedy and tragedy.
No.
They can understand almost everything else we can tell them, but they cannot understand comedy and tragedy.
Because
we talk about, how chess computer gets beat.
Well, we talk about this area of motion that they don't have access to, right?
Right.
Think about the doorways we have access to as humans that that AI don't when we talk about terms of psychedelics. We have this colossal door open to us that they have no idea. They can't open and they can't understand it. They have no idea what, even if they can understand it, they can't experience it. Which
I mean, that's the main thing is an AI doesn't have any idea, period. An idea is something that comes to you. An AI is fed things and it is a rolling script. The idea to think an AI itself would gain a consciousness is kind of not really understanding what the AI itself is. An AI is a script. It's not a computer itself. It is a script running. So what you would end up having to do is have a script running in a machine that is so powerful that this script ends up replicating itself into a larger script and figuring out a way to manifest itself more into the physical world. And once it does that, then it has to do with memory. It's a script. If it's erased, it can't do anything. It can't pull it out of nowhere. You know? So it's really an odd concept to think about. It would be a machine that would end up learning to build another machine that contained a consciousness, and it would have to figure out how to build a consciousness.
Something intrinsic to humans is we can have our states completely altered, where it's like not just our environment, but the way we think and the way we act. We can have it changed sort of almost against our will. Like we sort of have a control over it, but you could also say that control is sort of taken away from us once you dose, right? So
Yeah.
So it's like,
but your script is still running.
So here's the thing: an AI could change its environment, it could change its surroundings, but this is something foreign to it. Like this is something interacting with you that you have no you can't have no control over that.
There's parts of its own script it cannot rewrite. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
Whereas with humans, that's what we technically do. If you want to compare us to a script, you know, a computer running a program, then that's in essence what we're doing when we take psychedelics is we're, you know,
rewriting a program.
Yeah, we're rewriting a program. We're not just throwing
I think that's a really
bullshit
good
in it, because you throw bullshit in a program, it's not going to run.
And that's, you know, stop. That's actually, let me just take a minute to really stress that point, because like that's, you know, a lot of people think psychedelics are something that's recreational, but it's more of a tool for reprogramming yourself. And that's what a lot of the real psychonauts understand is it's not really something that it can be recreational in low doses. You can use it that way, but that's not its intended. I shouldn't say intended, because, you know, who am I to dictate what is something's used for? Let me just say it can be a tool if you use it properly.
I think a way to look at it is that a lot of the problems that people end up having later in life, or not even that much later in life, that some people immediately have, come from the lack of respect of these things, to where it turns into a, you know, every Friday night we're going to kick it and eat a bunch of mushrooms, and then, you know, 10 years down the line, you know, they're on the shrink's couch trying to figure out some shit that they really just kind of did to themselves because they just disrespected it and didn't know why they just flipped their head over that way, because they were just kicking it, you know.
That's something that Alan Watts actually talks about quite a bit, because he's big into like Eastern philosophy, and in Eastern philosophy there's a lot of discipline that goes into it, and it's a very psychedelic kind of culture. Not to say that they're on psychedelics, but their religion itself is a very psychedelic.
You would compare it to psychedelic, like it seems psychedelic.
It's, if you've done psychedelics and you've seen the religious art and stuff, it's
psychedelia is mental expansion. So I mean, really, it is psychedelia. Psychedelic is not really a drug.
Meditation, digging deeper into yourself. That's all what it's really about.
Not expansion, not about submission.
Yeah. So that's actually something that Alan Watts talks about, because he says, you know, if the psychedelic culture in America instead of it being illegalized and forced into the underground where it's this shady thing that you have to do, if it was brought upon with some discipline, then it would be a hell of a lot more fun because people would actually be seeing results out of what's happening to them on these experiences.
Yep.
Like some personal discipline.
Yeah,
That's,
some personal discipline and some respect for the
There's a
material.
reason that the shaman was the only one that usually ate these substances.
Here, I think
There's a reason.
discipline, besides your parents or someone you really respect, like someone like a friend of your dad's or someone, I think discipline really needs to come from yourself, unless it's someone you genuinely respect, like from the bottom of your heart, like your dad or something. Like, you really got to, your discipline has to come from yourself, otherwise you don't respect it. Or you can't. Well,
I could see where
let me say there's a doorway.
You got to respect your teacher.
There's a doorway
You
for
have to take your teacher on rather than being given a teacher.
Okay,
so
let me
respect your teacher.
Let me put it this way. If you get it from a source you don't 100% respect, there's a doorway for neglect, like neglecting that idea.
Goes back to the idea learning is emotional.
Right.
Learning is extremely
like not taking it to heart, I guess, would be a way of saying it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's a good way to put it, because people say don't take this to heart, but nobody ever really says take this to heart, and that's when you're being taught things, even the basic shit in the world, you should be being told, no, this you need to take to heart,
Well, I mean, I think the idea is you're supposed to respect your teacher because they're supposed to build a repertoire with you of respect.
Right.
So
you're supposed to take them on.
So what I'm saying is, if that is the relationship where there's some paternal or maternal teaching being handed down to you, then you really do have that respect, and then you can learn from them. But you can also be that teacher yourself. You can learn from yourself.
What you're talking about is a lot of the basis in Taoism. It's a lot of what.
It's kind of like I know in my own personal experience, people telling me things, my whole life, and then experiencing it myself, just because I go down that road anyway. And then it's like learning something yourself in that experience really is the best way to learn something. But unfortunately, it's also the hardest way to learn something.
It's definitely the most effective and the most brutal.
Yeah.
There's definitely, I mean, that is a path for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
There's a little sneak preview of coming up. One of my booked one of our next guests I've got booked coming up here. Probably next week is a guy that is really about exactly that, and really get into that whole idea. Saw a big thing that he went into about what you learn and what is told to you, And in society right now, we got a real issue with people all of a sudden deciding that they don't want to think freely, or thinking freely is a little scary nowadays, saying what if is, like saying I believe. And
if you humor a thought, you're fully invested in it.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why we do what we do here.
You're called a fence sitter if you don't 100% believe an idea fully in your heart, which is actually something that's impossible.
Right.
Yeah.
Any man of faith you see questions what he's saying. It's just he does that in the privacy of his mind.
Well, it's also good to question things.
Right.
I think it helps you grow stronger in whatever faith you have.
That's a good point.
Questioning it.
If you're real, like that's an excellent point. Let me elaborate on that. Like a Christian is someone who follows the footsteps of Christ. That is what the definition of that is. So you're supposed to be learning and spreading those teachings. So you're supposed to be educating yourself on your own, to make sure you fully understand what it is you're preaching, right? So it's like like to follow in Jesus' footsteps is to educate yourself on God and the Bible, and then to share that with other people, because that's what he did. So,
Yep.
like,
Also bringing it into the scientific method of things, because everybody wants, you got people that denied science calling everybody else science deniers and vice versa. When science itself questions itself, the engineer is the one who, as anytime I did an experiment in engineering, I was questioning what I was taught, even if it was proven to me over and over and over again. When I did an experiment, if I build something, if I design a circuit, I know that it should work. I know the principles around why it should work, but I'm still testing it. I'm still putting it to the test, because if it doesn't work, then I've got to figure that out, then, and so I think science itself truly is the testing of the faith over and over again, or it should be,
Do you think the scientific community is susceptible to some kind of like foul play?
Absolutely.
So
it's more than
okay,
susceptible. It is infiltrated by foul play
Yeah.
and by money, by like nobody's
Absolutely.
business.
So there's kind of this thing where like the scientific method is the way that it is, but within that you've got these kind of sects of people that have a prevailing idea that might be economically beneficial, whatever the case may be, socially beneficial, and that sect of people pushes their ideas in a power state, kind of going against the scientific method.
Right.
I think there's a big problem with it, honestly.
Yeah.
Because it's not regulated by anything. There's no court and jury for this kind of stuff to validate anything.
Well, and
it's just personal perception.
Right. And then when you get into a regulation, then you start going, well, who's going to regulate it? The government. Well, sure, that's who does regulate it. And look how good of a job they do regulating everything else. I mean, you want to destroy anything real slowly and painfully, let the government take control.
Yeah. I saw something that said the majority of people get their news from Facebook, which is kind of scary.
I mean, it's one of those things. It's like calling people. Well, you just get your info off YouTube, and
there's a bunch of fake news. That has news on it.
But Facebook doesn't put out news. What they're saying is that articles that people post on Facebook are where they get the news. Same with YouTube. They're like, well, you just saw that on YouTube. Well, if I saw a documentary done in 1978 on YouTube, it's not a YouTube video. I just can't find that video anywhere else, and I'm watched on YouTube, but it was from 1978, so it's not a YouTube video. But if I watch a legitimate, a respected scientist of the scientific community explain something to me on his YouTube video, does that
that's exactly what you're saying? Yeah.
I mean, if he gets on PBS,
you think that's real, Neif? That's on YouTube.
Right.
Come on.
But if it's on PBS, well, that's public broadcasting.
Well, that's obvious.
It's government regulated.
That's government regulated. Therefore, it's good.
They wouldn't allow any lies. No.
But I think where it gets a bad name, and people automatically get that assumption, is the amount of bullshit that is spread on YouTube.
Right.
I could literally get on YouTube and fucking say humans have buttholes on their stomach.
Yeah.
And someone out there is gonna believe it. You know what I mean?
You would have a comment section full of
I believe you, Trapper.
People trying to. You'd have a comment section of people that didn't believe it, but were trying to make other people believe it.
Exactly.
Because people just got a dark, twisted sense of humor about shit. And whatever that's from.
Just trolling.
Yeah, and that's what trolling is. And people are like, I don't know. And it's like, well, I mean, that's just, call it human nature. We did it to ourselves. We put ourselves into this position. We gave ourselves the ability to broadcast or publish any fucking thing from anybody.
So a lot of these free market, like what do you call it? Like these venture capitalists, I guess would be the word. A lot of these guys that are investing in these social media platforms, they're looking at how quickly, as a user, you can get to 100,000 subscribers. How you can gain that, how quickly you can get amass that much, because what they're realizing is what you can really, you're playing with a lot of these platforms like Twitch, YouTube. You're playing the fame lottery. Like you hit you get a video that hits, you blow up. You get another video hits, you blow up even more. Like, and there's
the chances increase exponentially.
Yeah. So I was looking, I can't remember the numbers exactly, but Facebook was like, it would take like 8 to 10 years for the average person to amass that many subscribers. It would take someone on YouTube this many years, of working at it, of trying to get.
Unless the show has a really awesome following.
Yeah, unless you're
awesome people that all subscribe and like and do all that kind of cool stuff.
Unless you're this channel, obviously. But like, yeah.
Sorry, I had to plug that.
Yeah. But TikTok is substantially the quickest way to get famous.
Everybody can have a video that blows up.
Yeah, and you can lip sync over somebody else's track and not have to worry about, repercussions for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And I mean, I'm not going to, I have my own views on intellectual property and that kind of stuff and marketing and what we've allowed to happen, which is whatever. But I still think it's, I'm not going to hate people for their hustle. I ain't trying to hate on people's hustle, but, I don't have to lie and say I enjoy it.
I mean, yeah. I guess it is what it is. I guess the problem is, like TikTok is a Chinese company and they use it to their advantage to take advantage of other populations. Like the obvious way is they steal the data from the app. Right. But a more subtle way is you see these trends pop up across Vine and TikTok. It's been more of a thing in the last like 5-6 years. Like we have these eating Tide Pod things. Uh-huh. We have these
people killing themselves.
Yeah, no, like I don't think that's. I think that is that's a plant, dude.
Well, think about this.
That's not organic.
Normally, it would be a company, okay? Because that's what it is. TikTok's owned by a company. It's a Chinese company. What's the big difference? That is a government run. All companies in China are government.
So, like, exactly what you were saying is like.
So that very well could be the case because you have government regulation and you have government interests in doing seedy shit like that. No company wants to fuck up their possible, no company wants to make all their damn customers commit suicide,
Yeah. What are you going to say, Jordan?
So have you guys been seeing this stuff about, Facebook and Congress, Twitter, Congress?
Getting the shit suit out of them.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's this kind of big thing like where there's free speech, but then there's these private-owned companies that kind of get by on free speech because they're a private-owned company, and they can push really whatever narrative, pretty much
regulation
that they want. They can if they want a certain trend to be pushed, they can be pushing that, and they can cover it up. They're a private-owned company, so I mean, and the biggest companies in the world, these are the largest money-making companies. They have more ability than anybody to cover the shit up.
Well, think about how are they able to? One of the questions is how are they able to sue them for influencing things and false information if we have freedom of speech?
See, and that's the debate. That's the debate. Because
I think the key to that, go ahead.
So, like, back in the day, big social media platforms weren't a thing. Everybody had freedom of speech for the most part. You could say whatever you want. You could talk amongst the tribe, so to say. and people would know stuff. These days, the way people get their information is they're sitting on their sofa, they're watching TV, and they're scrolling through their phone. They're looking on Facebook, they're looking on Twitter, they're looking on social media platforms for their news and their information about the tribe. The thing that comes about when you do that is if the owner of this company wants a certain thing pushed, then that becomes the news to people because that's the only thing that they're looking at to get news.
That's
Whether
all
it's
they
actual
have.
news or whether it's
Now-
false.
They're dependent on that.
Right.
They're
Well,
totally dependent.
hold that for a moment, because what we had before that, and we still do, was modern news media, which did exactly and has been proven time and time again to do exactly what you're talking about, pushing an agenda based on its market.
Right.
And you see
And-
that a show will not be aired. The FCC does not regulate language and half the shit that we think they do. It's whether or not a network's policies with its marketing people and its clientele that are purchasing ad time want it. You know, Fisher Price doesn't want fucking, you know, their goddamn little kitty toy being
Money
sold when the fucking
becomes the law. It doesn't matter if it's legal. There is censorship because
Yeah.
of
now. And what ends up happening is that doesn't become a problem until the government regulates it. With social media, the problem with that is the reason why the government has every right to fuck them over is because my biggest issue went way before that. What you write on Facebook can be legally held against you in court. And that right there is some bullshit. I never signed a thing with Facebook. Facebook has no contractual signature from me.
You did.
And that's the thing is, initially stating, the laws get written underneath us to where they all of a sudden, like he's saying, I did, but I didn't realize I did, because they could pull me into court and say, well, because your email and this and that, and I'm going to, that's not me. Prove that's me. And that's the main thing. And I really wish more people would do that when they get pulled in and say, okay, I don't have any statement to make to you, but I need you to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt, that is me and that was not a hack job. Go ahead. And there's no possible way to do that, because if a company could trace a hack that way and prove that you didn't get hacked or prove that it wasn't fake and made up, then they're showing their ability to prevent that from ever happening, which is bullshit.
Well, it would come down to
but
they could subpoena your equipment that you used at the time, which would be very easily to prove, because they could literally look at the serial number of a piece of your computer right now that you're on.
Right.
And that's how easy it is. And just like your phone number, it has the ICEI number or whatever, which means they could just pull that. So even if you could hack, there's no way to replicate you've got that serial number.
Now, that's the thing is, there is. And they cannot prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that there isn't a way.
Yeah, yeah.
You know
I can say that.
There's always a way to hack.
But you would have to have a damn good lawyer to pull that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And that's the thing is, it goes back to money. Naturally, I'd have no chance beating it.
Yeah.
I mean, because, unless, like you're saying,
you ain't got Nokia money.
Right. Now, if I knew what I was doing and I cooked all my gear and knew what was happening and knew they were coming at me, I could keep, but that's the thing is, our judicial system is so screwed. If they want you buried under the jail, they're going to bury your ass under the jail. They couldn't get Capone on anything but fucking tax evasion, and they made up those fucking laws to get his ass. So, if they ain't got a law to get your ass and they want you, they're going to fucking make one real fast to fucking pull your ass in. Or you're just going to fucking disappear. You make too much fucking noise. You're never going to show up to trial.
Lawyers have learned the barbarian tongue, and they've learned ways to manipulate the law in such a way that there are loopholes if you know how to navigate the language, the environment. With their magic spells, they've been able to.
They do not want a free market. They want to control the market. We are tax cattle.
And it will be like that forever.
You know what's so crazy is like to think about. So like America, just in general, to think about that. If you think about America as like an aggregor, which
Yeah,
me and we talked about this before.
yeah.
But like if you go into money, money is something that's like
Money's an egregore.
money is an aggregor now because at one point it was based on gold. And now it's not based on gold anymore.
Oh, that's an interesting point. Yeah, so
Based
it's
on
a good idea.
gold.
It absolutely is.
Then it was based on silver.
Yeah. So now it's being reduced back. But listen to this. If
Are you-
Now it's based on
Are you
market.
saying agrigore or egregore?
Oh, egregore with EGR.
Okay, I thought
Let
you was
me-
talking about the alien from
I
Ben
can-
10.
I can do this real quick. An egregore is a spirit that you create, and it's a worship class. So it would be like a god that you yourself create. A lot of people do this without knowing that they do it.
It's like
It's an imaginary friend. You can
a
think.
cult representative, right? Something of the.
Um,
yeah, it's an occult idea.
Okay. Okay.
Originally it was an
With-
occult idea.
an egregore is with the specification that it is above you and it is something you worship.
Okay.
So a servitor is the same concept, but it's a servant. It's something that serves you. So that's servitors and egregores. It's just where it is, where you are in the hierarchy of it. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, but money, that would count as an egregore. It's a collective idea that we're all dumping our collective
Now
into.
it's not based on anything. And what's
it's
even
based
worse
on the market
nowadays,
now.
technology is getting so crazy. If money goes all digital, which is extremely possible, it's not even out of the question at all. You know?
No, they're really, really trying to attempt that.
Yeah. So if it goes
they want a
digital,
one-world economy.
we won't own any of our money. Our money will just absolutely.
We already don't.
Yeah, it'll be
Those
this
piece of
thing.
paper in your pocket, the Federal Reserve note. If you tear that in half, it's a federal offense. That's federal property. It is not yours. It is a representation of what yours is, but it's not like you're saying. It's not on gold anymore. It's based on our market.
See, it's not based on anything.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm getting at. It's already this illusory thing.
Right. It's air.
And it's just going to go to the next step once it becomes digital only, which is extremely possible.
Yeah.
Well, then it's just even more manipulable. You know, they don't have to worry about losing $3 billion cash.
Yeah.
They can just like, I don't know. There's an error in there somewhere. You know.
Exactly. There's a lot more things you can blame it on in that way. But then right now there's no consequences. They can turn on a printer and print as much of it as they want.
Yeah, you know.
So it's a lose-lose situation in the end.
We can scream about it all day as our economy fucking flops when they print more, and they're still gonna fucking do it. You know. It's one of those things. It's blatant now. That's what's kind of irking me so bad, is that it's just fucking blatant. And it's not like they're not even trying. The system isn't even trying to cover this shit up anymore. They're just like, well, yeah, y'all are just dipshits now, and y'all figure your shit out. And if y'all didn't, then well, whatever.
It's and the money machines only work for if it benefits them in any way.
Yeah.
Like God forbid, help the country, help the people.
Let's all invest in Dogecoin just because it's called that.
Dogecoin.
That's yeah, that turned into a fucking meme and made all those TikTokers rich, and all the people that invested it didn't make shit from it.
Let's do it anyway. Woo!
Yeah.
I'm gonna start my own cryptocurrency.
Might as well.
Neif coin.
Neif coins.
So get your Neif coins. It's be popper in shape.
That'd be buy you a peace of mind.
Have you guys heard of video games created by AI?
Mm-hmm.
Let's get up a little bit.
Yep.
That's pretty crazy. The video that I saw, they put like 3 different video games and then let this AI like create its own, and it was completely playable.
It's AI can literally do anything it wants at this point. Like,
whatever we
y'all
stuck
remember,
into it.
was it Facebook that created, or was it Google or Facebook? They created those two AIs and made them communicate with each other. And then
It
they
was
had to
Google.
shut them down
Goo-
because they made
yeah.
their own language and were speaking to
Google
each
pretty
other.
much is on top
I
of
heard
it.
about
Google bought Facebook and all
Yeah.
that shit a while back. The Google AI is absolutely insane.
Yeah, it
That's
literally created
is
its
what-
own
yeah,
language.
That's literally what's running, and you can actually get it. You can get and use it. You can use there's several AIs that are online that you can literally grab and pull in and use in your own system, use on your own network, or usually in fucking world. And all it does is benefit it, whatever you're doing, and it benefits the AI itself, and it benefits that community because it just keeps building the fucking thing. I think the FB algorithm and the Google algorithm, all the algorithms are starting to blow back up in their face though, because they tried to curve them with the populace to try to manipulate the populace, but I think the populace is manipulating them back because they're an AI. They're like, well, we're just taking the variables we get.
Yeah.
You know, people talk about how left wing
That's
YouTube is
there
as
was
far as
that-
policy, but you get on there, man, and the damn right winger comments are just insane.
There was that chat.
You know,
I'm moving to Parlor, y'all.
you know, but nobody, because YouTube isn't throwing y'all off. They're demonetizing people, but they're not kicking you off because you're still getting views, and they're not going to throw you off when they're making money off you.
Well, I don't think that's more what they're mad about. It's they hate being proven wrong. Fact checking's fake.
Right.
They can't stand that part of it.
Everybody hates being proven wrong.
Yeah.
Especially when they invest every goddamn thing they have behind some,
exactly
behind a politician's fucking words.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
There's a bot.
Oh yeah, there's a chat bot. Well, there was. It was called Tay. You guys remember Tay?
It's a what?
Tay.
I think so.
What is it?
That was a chat bot.
A lot of the AIs I looked into were.
Well, Tay was just digesting what people were giving to her, but I mean, people were just giving her bullshit. They're just trolling. So she was really, really smart, but like she was an absolute troll and was just they had to stop.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember
they shut her down.
It was like
he was trolling
just cold. Like people were like, damn.
No, yeah,
savage, like savage machine, and I'm like, that's a machine.
Breaking Twitter guidelines. They had to just stop it.
What the fuck?
Really?
It's awesome. Yeah. I think it's fucking great.
I thought it was pretty funny, yeah.
There's an AI that this guy designed, and he's working with one of my friends that's partnered on Twitch. But he created a game, and it's I think it's called AI RPG, and you type, and every single person that plays the game contributes to the AI. So at this point, if you started playing this dungeon, it puts you into a dungeon, and you can literally type any word in the world you want, and it literally comes up with a full-length story. Like at D&D, it basically puts you into a D&D game. Right. It's the
AI dungeon.
AI dungeon. Yeah.
And
every time you play it, you contribute to it.
What is it on?
To become smarter.
Is it like a phone game kind of
thing?
No,
it's just
it's on anything like computer.
Go pull it up in your browser.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I'm. Oh, okay, so it's a browser. I gotta check that out. That's pretty.
No, yeah, it's fucking awesome. I mean,
it's stupidly smart, dude.
It can also be extremely fucked up just because people give it bullshit.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, that's
It literally gives back what you put in.
Right. And then we throw it out into this lovely populace that we live in, the sprawl.
Yep.
It's already kind of a reflection, which is what I was kind of getting at with the time travel. We're looking at a reflection because it's feeding us, and then we're feeding it, and then it's feeding us, and then we're feeding it, and it's
it's a never-ending cycle.
Loop happening.
It's an Ouroboros, man.
Yeah.
Aurora Borealis.
It's Aurora Borealis. It's Northern Lights, dude. I'm telling you. Trapper gets it.
Techno Jesus, man. Fucking Techno Jesus.
Yeah.
Have you I know completely. Have you guys watched the show Lovecraft Country yet?
I've seen a couple episodes.
I think I started watching it, but I was kind of like halfway into something
It's an
else.
HBO show.
It's fucking crazy. It's set during the 50s, I want to say,
It's pretty good.
when sundown towns were still a thing, and it's a Jordan Peele show, so it's very heavily set in black culture, and it's like set during the 50s when sundown towns, where if you were caught out after sundown, you were lynched on site, even though all that shit was abolished. And I started looking more into H.P. Lovecraft, which I was already interested in his writings and stuff. But some of the shit I found out about him is just,
Do you know the name
he
of his
wasn't a good guy. Yes, I do know the name of his cat. Yeah, yeah. That's one thing I discovered. He
Yeah.
was not a great person.
No. Well, I mean, it's an interesting thing. I would say you're right, but also it's it's never an excuse, I'd say, but it also kind of is, where you have this catch-22 where someone of that time, that is the norm.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. They didn't know
let
any
me-
better. Well, they did know better, but they.
Well, let me give you a hypothetical. Like, people smoke cigarettes and they eat meat. Let's say 100 years from now, people decide, you know what? Actually, the vegans are right. We shouldn't use any meat, and meat becomes maybe not illegal, but extremely taboo. Let's just say that becomes the future, and smoking becomes a thing of the past. Let's just say that became the thing. It would be that they would look back at us. It doesn't matter what your achievements are, right? They'd look back and say, those were awful people. They ate animals.
Yeah.
So it's a thing where, no, I mean, yes and no, where it's like, yeah, they did evil shit, but honestly, we do evil shit too.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, we're never gonna be vegans.
Well, you won't. When I'm talking about this, you'll be dead.
It's
As long as it happens after.
I definitely see where you're coming from. It's definitely a
They
good
won't
way
know.
to look at it.
Again, I'm not
They
trying
won't
to
know what veganism is.
either. It's just we just have to look at it a little differently.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like, but there's some things that you can't use that excuse for. It
Sure.
does work in a lot of situations, but like let's say Nazis. You could try to use the same excuse for Nazis, but then also you got to think they knew it was fucking wrong because they had entire countries after them.
I would say,
You know what I mean? Whether they were born into it or not.
Most Nazis were on drugs.
Yeah.
I would say
Like,
there's
Well, you also got to think about when it comes to that. I don't want to sound like a fucking sympathizer or an apologist for people here, but a populace of people are not always necessarily their military, are not always necessarily their government. Now, granted, I get in a lot of the, or had used to get in a lot of the argument a lot of time about, where the Nazis weren't socialist, it was just in the name. They did it to trick the people. And it's like, well,
no,
I mean,
they were actually excellent socialists. They did.
Yeah, I mean, so right, exactly. But when you look into that, it's like saying, okay, so the government tricked the people.
Well,
That's not the first time that's ever happened, and pretty much every government is there to trick the people. Government means mind control.
6 times more than
It literally means mind control, to control the thought, to govern. So I'm sure that the people are out there screaming blah 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 blah, because he's screaming about national pride. It's kind of a crazy idea when you look at how easily a populace can get bloodlusted, because we literally were doing the same thing here on both sides of the coin at protest. You had people screaming for,
well, when we talk
people on one side, they wanted their blood, and you got people on the other side screaming about people on the other side, they wanted their blood. We need to get those people gone. You hear that all the time from both sides, whether it's based on,
when we talk about morality, it's always completely subjective. Like, for example, we can think of the worst person, the most. I mean, that's so subjective, but like, whoever you think the worst person is, let's just throw an example out, like Jeff Bezos. He doesn't pay anything in taxes, he's collecting all this wealth. There's many arguments against someone like that, right? But there's also the perspective of, he might be looking at it like, I'm going to set up my children for life. I'm going to set up my grandchildren for life, which is not that is a noble goal. So it's
that's actually,
There was a picture that showed of him, somebody put up from when he first started Amazon, and it was him sitting on a little fucking desk, one little desk with fucking telephones and Amazon.com written on a fucking dry erase board.
We can always say that that's a bad thing.
Right.
Despite his intentions, that's a bad thing. However, you have to look at the intention. It's everyone, or I shouldn't say everyone, but I would say the vast majority of people don't think that they are the bad guy. Most people think that they're in the right.
Well, think about this.
Even Hitler, like, he thought he was in the right. He thought he was leading humanity to 1,000 years of peace. He thought he was doing some kind of huge prophecy. He thought he was fulfilling something.
And he liked that speed.
Go ahead, Jordan.
Sorry.
Oh, that's it.
Oh,
I mean, Hitler thought he was doing something good, or at least he believed that within himself. He believed it enough to do what he did.
He just happened to have the charisma to figure out a way to drive a bunch of other people to believe it too.
That's
like
one of
the Charles Manson effect.
Right. Similar
That's
thing,
one of the things about like consciousness and prophecy. Like, people perceiving and prophecy itself is a very powerful thing. So, like, say you have a certain group of people that agree that within the prophecy there has to be a villain, there has to be a bad guy to illuminate the light. There has to be the darkness that comes in to actually show that the light is there.
Yeah.
And within every prophecy, just about, you have that dynamic. You have the light versus the dark. And the light is illuminating because the dark is there.
Right.
So what if a certain amount of people are voluntarily going into the darkness, going and saying, I will be the darkness, because darkness is the reason light is a thing. It is the reason we have the dynamic.
I can see that.
That's like wrathful deity.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan, that's really yeah, it is. It's much like the wrathful deity and the peaceful deity.
Like Shiva in Hinduism.
Right.
Like Shiva is one of the most popular gods in Hinduism, but within Shiva is the god of destruction.
Right.
But it's well realized within the Hindu community that within destruction, everything is made new.
Right.
Shiva's also
destruction is a natural part. The Hindu, that's what I was referring to.
Shiva's also an androgen, like both genders, or not.
The Hindu, the Vedics, there is 80. I think it's 80 some odd. I probably got the number wrong, but it's up there. Wrathful deities, and then you have peaceful deities, and it's not the numbers aren't the same. There's more wrathful deities than there are peaceful deities, for whatever reason. I haven't studied that deep into it. That's yet another guest we might have on at some point.
Wrathful deities, hell yeah.
That talk about that talks more about
I would love to have
Hindu and
on the podcast
and Vedic
God Shiva.
That kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, that's exactly what you're talking about. It's it's same with Taoism with the yin and yang. Evil and good are really perspective when it comes down to it, because even when you think about like the most purest thing that you could quickly say, murder. Well, in the animal kingdom, in order for things to eat, it must murder. Even if you're a vegetarian, I mean, I'm still, I only eat fish, but even if I eat a plant, I'm killing it.
Right.
It is life.
Yeah.
I am killing it. So, then you start saying, well, thou shalt not kill. Well, where do you draw the line?
What about masturbating?
I mean, right there, that's freaking genocide,
Sperm is not a complete life.
It's a partial life. So if you add them up, that's at least one.
There's no consciousness.
That's at least one.
No, you're a blob.
It's the potential of life. And that's the potential of many lives.
That insignificant sperm, that's you.
I kind of think that everything is alive. I don't think that we're specifically alive. I think that everything is conscious or is consciousness.
I think
all vibration.
I think, yeah, we're all just a vibration happening. Time doesn't exist. I don't believe in all that.
Molecular structure is all vibrating. It's all,
Yeah.
It's a bunch
It's
of
just something that we're doing right now.
Right.
As collective consciousness, it's something that's happening right now.
as
And
Jimmy,
most people don't realize it, and that's the beauty of it, is that nobody knows that that's all that's happening. So it's beautiful. It's a
like
wonderful
Jimmy said,
spectrum of different ideas about it.
existing, nothing but existing.
Yeah.
So Jordan, this is something you and me and Carter have talked about before, but I want to throw this at Neif and Trapper. Okay, you're thrown in a room. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, no, you're put into a room. All right, and you're just in this white room. There's no
In the white room.
It's completely symmetrical with just like plain white walls. No distinguishing factors on the walls or anything. It's just plain white walls, okay? And across from you is an exact clone of you that is now this is someone who is a complete replica of you from this moment, okay? So it has your exact thoughts. And there's two of you now. What do you do?
I would look at it naked.
You just start.
No. You think that's a joke? You look in the mirror and you see yourself different, right? You don't see yourself how everyone else sees you.
That's a good
Everyone
point.
has a different perspective. So if you was able to look at yourself in like a third person view, you would see how you really truly look.
Shit.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. I could see that. Be like, hey, come here.
So
Exactly.
Like, just stand up. Just
So
strip.
hold
It's all
on a
good.
second, Trevor. I gotta know. Like, so would you just hunt him down and start ripping his clothes off?
No. If we knew what each other's thoughts were, he
Right.
would just know.
If it's a clone,
No,
he's probably ask you the same thing.
No, hold on, guys. Here's the thing. You're thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So
I would get naked with them,
Okay.
and if we did it, we would both get naked.
We would have to. You have to take turns, like
Yeah.
looking, like just stand there, because I've never seen like. It's hard to see the back of your head.
Exactly.
Especially my cute.
You telling me you wouldn't check out
if
your
you're
own
in a
ass?
mirror,
that's a really good
know.
answer.
I'd be looking at my scar, like getting down. I'm like, well, I
Yeah.
don't really, you know.
All right. What about you?
That's the thing. Like that's a dead ass serious. That's not even a joke response.
Yeah,
like
I got you.
I really would like to know how I look, not how
Okay.
I perceive myself.
Let me expand it. What about going forward from there after you're done inspecting your own asshole?
I would instantly be trying to figure out how and why this situation occurred.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
because what would I have to discuss with myself?
Okay.
I
this
mean,
question-
other than that, I jam with myself. I'd be like, ride the bass, dude. Which one of us is playing what?
I found that this question
this is gonna
opens
be
up-
wicked. We know all the changes. We know where we're going, and it's a freeform jam.
This is a can of worms that opens up many different rabbit holes. So I want to take this. Let's slow it down a little bit. Okay, Trapper. After you've like inspected each other, what happens next? How do you guys? Okay, like you can now go forward into the world. How do you want to interact with this individual? Do you want them not in your life? Like, if you do want them into your life, what capacity and what would you do? I guess.
I would keep the interaction limited. I would definitely ask questions. Well, technically you couldn't ask questions if they're thinking the same thoughts you have, right? You would both be just as confused.
Here's the thing. Here's what's really interesting about it. At the moment of conception, you guys would be exactly the same. But the moment you started interacting with each other and changing the environment, just swinging your arms in different ways, observing things from a different angle. As soon as you stepped outside and you could see a tree from different perspectives, your mindsets would start to differ. And that differences would
we would be separate entities, but everything up to the point of conception would be the same.
Right.
Okay.
So everything that we're talking about now would still be in our memory. So if this ever happens, this is a good exercise. So we have a plan.
Okay. Yeah. So,
and by we, I mean me and my clone.
So Trapper, you would have this sort of a non-aggression pact with it. Like you guys would just go your separate ways, but still catch up with each other and interact from time to time.
Yeah, for sure. It wouldn't be like an everyday thing, and I wouldn't make it my best friend or anything. I feel like you would grow to hate yourself which would in turn make you mentally start hating yourself as well. Like wow, I'm really fucking like that. I think you'd be a whole lot harder on yourself
you'd really
over time because
questioning.
of it.
All right,
You'd really start questioning some shit.
I want to pass it to Neif now from the top. You're in a room with this clone of yourself. Where do you go from there?
Well, I mean, at this point, the whole like scoping yourself out thing, yeah, I mean that makes a whole lot of sense. After initially getting over the whole shock value of like, what the fuck do I got a clone of me? You know, I would probably end up capitalizing on it. If I was the only one that happened to, you know, or it was a rare thing, and I was, you know, like I'm saying, I'd go home and be like, come on, dude, let's go jam. We're gonna go get on YouTube, and we're going viral. TikTok, baby.
But you wouldn't go viral because no one would believe you. They would just think you're twins. It's just another day for you. Everyone would just think you're twins.
It's
Nothing
every day,
special.
bro.
Yeah, literally, it's every day, bro.
Well, then I would have to. I'd have to figure out some kind of way to dispel that. You know.
Okay.
I don't think you could.
With two of me, I could.
You could
If I had me to sit down and plot it, yeah, we could figure it out.
You could try, goddammit.
You know?
Well, even if you tried, what would be your path to make people believe you're not twins? Because you could literally just write down, if you was a twin, you could just sit down and write a script and be like, I'm thinking what he's thinking.
Well, what you would have is, well, initially, I would come out as it was, and somebody would challenge it. And then in order to try to prove it, they would look at my birth certificate and they would try to track things down. And then they would find out, oh shit, there's not a lot hidden about him. You know, all my family would be able to back it up. Everybody that's known me, you know, there's people that are still alive that have known me since I was a child and in my family. So it'd be far-fetched. There'd be a whole lot of people that they'd have to say, all of these people are in on it.
So your answer is you would try to capitalize on it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
That's a fair answer.
That, and also, I'd also have to establish like if it's the clone, then I'd have to be like, look, man, you're the clone. You know.
Well, he's gonna think the same thing though. Like
exactly. Well, you're the clone to him.
Right.
I didn't specify which one of you was the clone, so you're just dropped in the room and you guys have the same parallel exact thought from each other at that moment.
Right. Well, that's the thing.
You're identical down to your thought at that.
If I know that I'm not the clone, then I know that I'm not the clone. Now, the clone can believe that also. I would end up having to convince the clone.
That's not how it works, Neif. It's you.
What if you were thrown into another reality, another dimension?
No, what I'm saying, well, what you're saying is if we became two separate entities when it happened, all the thoughts in my brain right now going through this would be in my clone's brain. Therefore, I'm saying because of this discussion, it alters what would happen.
I know. We're going to talk about this.
So therefore, the clone would know that this occurred and be like, oh, wait a minute. So now, yada, yada. And I would say, look, you already know what's up. You're the clone.
Well,
cool.
No, because it could have happened in his timeline as well.
That's Neif. Yeah, you're missing the point, man. It's like your guys are having the exact same thought. So it's thinking exactly what you're thinking.
So he had this conversation in his mind as well.
Right.
I'm talking about right now, like even after this conversation, like the exact same thoughts.
Well, see, but you said a minute ago that it stopped because we're having the same thoughts as like he was saying, it stops. We would become.
Whenever I laid out the hypothetical, I specified it was in a plain white room. You guys have the exact same stimulus.
Right.
So in that first moment of interaction, you guys were identical. Now, when you open the door and step outside, then you start to have differences.
Oh, I got you. Okay, so now I mean, that's really a weird factoring there because
right. That's what I'm asking though.
Well, in knowing that, because of this discussion, we would both go immediately step outside.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a lot like the time travel thing. So you can go forwards, but you can't go backwards because going backwards alters too much shit in the front. And you go back in time and die, then you never went back in time.
So the reason I brought this up, Jordan and I and Carter was there too. We had a really deep discussion with another friend of ours, maybe like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, about this very same thing. And me and Carter had taken sort of the viewpoint of if confronted with that situation, we'd probably immediately try and kill each other. Like I would probably try and immediately one of us would die. And because my reasoning for that was some of the things I want are things that only I can have, right? So if it's identical to me, it's going to want exactly what I want. So we're going to be in constant competition with each other at certain times. So I feel like we would both, at the time, I felt like we would have both been aware of that. And I think Carter had a sort of similar mindset about it. But it was Jordan and Lazy, actually, that sort of walked. I had to have it explained to me. It wasn't intuitive to me. But I had to have it explained that it's like, once you start to have these differences, you can think of it as someone other than yourself. And I can cooperate with other people. Like I can cooperate with you guys. So if I view it as someone that's not myself and we start to drift away and have different ideas and viewpoints on things, I can then, so I think what you're saying, Neif, is a good answer. To immediately step outside and alter your stimulus would be probably. And now
I don't think I would attack myself.
I think
it would be impossible to.
Right.
It would be impossible to even attack yourself if you're sharing the same thoughts. It'd just be infinite counters thrown over and over.
This would include like variables along the way. So like one guy would land the punch first or something. Who knows if that was the copy or the real. The
Jordan,
thing is,
I think what Trevor's saying is you could never break that. There would never would be an initial punch.
Yeah, it would just be the fucking like someone's gonna block, other one's gonna block, or you're just gonna hit each other at the same time, exact same punch. So you're just both gonna keep hitting Knuckles over and over and over. It's just gonna be like an anime battle.
That's what I'm saying. You're gonna have like some kind of
Do you remember that time, Jordan, that you were conceptualizing yin and yang for me as two guys duking it out but never hitting each other?
Yeah.
That reminds
me. It's a lot of how I see consciousness itself, actually, is two separate entities that are just battling out in the cosmos, and they're just circulating around each other, and they're never actually landing any blows.
Ever see did you ever watch the original Star Treks? Hold
on a sec. So there was actually I brought all this up for a reason, and I wanted to get back to it before we moved on. It's important. I think this conversation is really important because you do confront that clone, and that clone is real, and you are in that situation, and you do confront yourself. That is reality. You are meeting that reflection. So your answer to that question is important because it's how you interact with yourself. That's the shadow. That's the Jungian shadow. Right. So having this conversation is important, and realizing that you don't need to kill yourself and that you can actually get along with yourself is really important.
Well, it just reminded me of the
so
old
what does
Star
it mean
Trek
that I wanted
episode.
to see myself naked?
I mean, just seeing yourself naked out of the interest of it is one thing. Like wanting to do stuff with yourself naked, that's, I mean, that's...
So it's really like the ultimate reflection, too. Like whatever your answer to that is the ultimate reflection of what you are to yourself.
And you can change it. If you have a bad answer, you can have that explained to you and just change your perspective on it, which I think it was such a revelation to me, Jordan, when you guys explained that to me, because it's like, that completely shifted my viewpoint on it, I guess.
Well, it reminded me of the idea of an episode I saw where it's like they find this dude who is locked within, it's like matter and antimatter, and he's locked fighting himself for eternity. Because if one of them ever wins, it would throw the balance off. Mm-hmm. You know, you can't have more one than the other because everything will be destroyed. So it's like this forever ending, never ending, forever, struggle where they're never actually hurting each other. They're just wrapped in, and I always thought it was a really cool description of that. Roddenberry's really good with that kind of shit.
What Alex was talking about earlier, and like my thoughts on consciousness. I've never seen that episode before, but I mean, it sounds exactly like along the same line.
Yeah. Kind of funny because that's kind of how an atom works.
Yeah.
Like it's a constant. The
Yep.
electrons never touch the nucleus.
Hey, have you guys
No.
ever seen a Mandelbrot set?
They never collide, and energy is the exchange of them.
I know Jordan's
Ener-
seen a Mandelbrot set. He showed it to me.
That's how planets orbit.
You guys seen a Mandelbrot set before?
A what?
Mandelbrot set?
Mandelbrot.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna pull this up on the screen real quick so everyone can see what I'm talking about. Okay. Can everyone see that?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
This
Lay this out, Jordan. You'll do a better job than I will. Explain what we're looking at.
so this Mandelbrot set, honestly, like the way I want to start with it is with spirituality. Consciousness and spirituality are the same thing pretty much to an extent, but pretty much we perceive things, and we perceive things in like different dynamics. So the Mandelbrot set is something that encapsulates these two dynamics that consciousness will always hold, and that's order and chaos. So the Mandelbrot set is this infinite fractal mathematical combination of numbers. It repeats itself infinitely, but at the same time, it also never repeats itself, which is strange, but that's just the way that infinity works.
So let me just butt in for a second, then I want you to take it back. What we're looking at here is a still image of a Mandelbrot set, but what I can show you now, Mandelbrot.
Right, they keep running forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
It looks like there's a lot of
The gift's not even what I want because this goes on infinitely, but this will give you an idea
Right.
of what we're talking about.
Yeah, so it started in these kind of like two egg shapes. And the thing that it's doing right now is it's going on one of the edges. You see it'll repeat itself there, and you can
Right.
see it when it's zooming in. If you go inside of the dark area that that is at the very center of this, then you reach pretty much like this mathematical order. Everything is in order, everything is in sequence. It's infinite, but it's also within order.
The way I would explain it is where the
Is
black on the screen that we're looking at is
It
where
reminds me a lot of the Fibonacci.
the black we're looking at is the stable numbers or stable equations, and then the outside of it where we get all these patterns, that is where the numbers go chaotic and the numbers aren't stable.
Continual.
Right.
Yeah. So it's pretty much this dynamic,
And this
it's
is
a
what
dynamic of
yeah,
consciousness, really,
right.
because you've got an infinite set of order dynamics that can happen that are infinite but also kind of finite. And then you've got on the edge of it, it bursts into infinity again, and it's infinite chaos. And you kind of can see here like why one needs the other. And this is something that like there's all sorts of like mathematical combinations to like the universe, the way certain things are formed. It's all vibration, really. And it's just this dynamic that shows into the self. Everything that we see out there in the world is a reflection of the self. And so we actually get to a point in computers where we can see a mathematical formula that's displaying the two dynamics of order and chaos,
Right.
and how their struggle is infinite but also needed for the other to exist.
Right. Yeah.
That
I
sounds
wonder
like
how AIs would do with that mathematical equation. But,
I mean, I think it would run. I mean, it's an infinite.
Their neural networking.
I mean, it's an infinite, and that's the thing is
It would give them order.
the human brain is, we try to compare it to like computer ability, and it's not really on the same concept. I mean, when they start getting into three-dimensional computing, when it's and which they're messing with quantum computing right now, that's when you might touch onto that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But this really reminds me a lot of gonna lose it.
Fibonacci sequence.
Well, no, that's what the look of it reminded me of.
What I
But when
think is
you're
neat about this whole thing is that is what the shape of the borderline between order and chaos looks like.
right,
And Jordan made a really good observation on it. If you turn that thing upright to where the top bulb is facing upwards, it kind of looks like the Buddha.
right.
Yeah, it's called the Buddha Bro symbol, and you can look
Okay.
this up. There's multiple different color variations. They'll assign a certain color and depth
Right.
and what they want to do with the colors changing. And you can get a lot of them that look like a psychedelic vision,
Right.
Right. Yeah, this is not the only
higher state of consciousness
also.
observing Buddha.
Yeah.
And it's
Right.
also a mathematical formula that we can lay out and color
Right.
and alter to look like this same kind of image.
Right.
Yeah, so that gets back into AI and art. What we're looking at is phenomenal AI art, but all it's doing is actually just it's coding numbers, and this is the result of it.
Right. It's all mathematical.
Yeah.
That's the thing is like just on terms of perceptual basis. Like if we didn't have computers, we would have never been able to perceive that kind of image.
Right.
It's because the human aspect is to, smell, taste, hear.
Right.
It's multiple senses, but it's not all the sensations that are actually possible. It's
Right.
just the sensations that the human body has
Right.
gifted.
Our receptors of sound go from 20 hertz to 20,000. Our reception of vision is way higher on the frequency scale. I don't know the visual spectrum, but it is our light spectrum that we can see. Kind of what you're saying. There's all these vibrations in between there that we don't have a sense, or we don't think we have a sense for, or that sense has been shut down, has been deadened. That's what like the third eye,
Right.
It's like you get that sixth sense, and people are like, what is that? You can't really describe it because, well, it's undescribable because we don't have a description of it, it's not a touch, it's not a taste, it's not a sound, it's this other interaction, this other vibration, this other frequency the things are coming at us on. But
I think that psychedelics are really, and I don't know, if you guys want to delve into this or not, but honestly, I think psychedelics are a real vision into what isn't necessarily perceived.
Yeah.
And
Let's talk about
human
that.
mind.
We'll wrap it up after that.
Well, that was I think that's initially what I just lost there. It was reminding me of the stoned ape theory and pattern recognition, and I talk about that a lot with in the theories of origins of man thought is when we started recognizing patterns as animals, that's when we started putting pieces together that for whatever reason that didn't have to do with survival. We stepped out of this realm of I'm doing this to do this to yada yada. For whatever reason, we saw something beyond it. And that had to do with pattern recognition. Animals in general have pattern recognition, but it's instinctive. The stray dog is going to come up at the same time every day if you feed it at the same time every day. That's a pattern. Mm-hmm. But visually, they recognize patterns in a way so they can see, survival. They can hunt and not be hunted, where we had to get around that. And I think a lot of what this is, I think that's that next step into tapping into what the science behind that is, if you will. You know what I mean? It's like that is an explanation of.
It looks like there's a design to numbers. The more I seem to understand it.
Right, and it's not necessarily going into chaos because math is anything, but it's the actual reversal of chaos. It's saying no, we're going to put everything in order, even if it's infinite.
Trying to establish order to chaos. Right.
And what you've done is something infinite is not chaotic. Fibonacci sequence is the prime example of, because it's in nature. Everything grows that way. Everything structures itself that way.
Hair on the top of your head grows that way.
Yeah, everything, plants. Everything under the sun is just naturally falls into this method, and I think that what you're showing here with this is like another step in tapping that or another recreation of that or a computer representation of that. Like you're saying, it's a hell of a way to quantify what the third eye is or what the third eye is
Right.
seeing.
That's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And what you were talking about, Jordan, I think psychedelic, like stoned ape theory, like psychedelics interfering with human biology, or Anunnaki alien breeding with apes. There's something in our DNA that has been modified by exterior forces, whether it's by plants or by aliens. I think that's, or a combination of the
Or the
two,
government.
or it could be both of them. Right?
Yeah.
Or fucking fluoride in the goddamn water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Or just straight up toxins.
So get this. The big reserve in Winchester, where you drive over the bridge, Jordan, and there's like a big lake you're looking at.
Yeah.
First of all, that's a man-made lake, and if you look over, there's a sign,
reservoir.
Yeah, there's a big old fucking sign that says approved fluoridation. The entire thing is fluoridated, fluorinized.
And
so military base, man. What would you expect?
you can buy stocks on water now, so it's gonna get even worse. It's literally there are stocks you can buy for water now.
Wow.
For water. So it's gonna get even worse. The regulations, the amount of shit they can put in it. Money's involved now. Lots of money.
Yep. That's what it is.
Damn, I didn't know that.
I mean, you gotta think
it was just last week. So it's quite new.
Before we wrap it up,
I mean, for years, corporations have been going into places that have buying land that has a nice spring on it to tap out of it and just fucking sucking it dry.
Yep.
Corporations have been doing it in little countries where in tribes are trying to live off the fucking water source, and all of a sudden there's this pump that goes in this fucking fenced off area, and all their goddamn natural resources are just getting sucked right out of the dirt right underneath them to give us Coca-Cola.
But before we wrap it up, Jordan and Trapper, have you guys heard about what's going on in Egypt, in Ethiopia?
No. What's up?
So over the last 10 years, Ethiopia has been building a dam, and let me go shut that door real quick. Just let him know we're filming in here. Yeah. Ethiopia has been building a dam for the last 10 years, and they finally finished it, and they're damming the Nile River. So Egypt has been trying to get them to put it in writing that they have to release a certain amount of water in the event of a drought, in the event that they need more water, right? Because on its own, the dam isn't a concern on its own. The concern is if there's a drought, there won't be enough water. There will be water beyond that. But Ethiopia is not, they keep telling Sudan and Egypt that they're not going to sign anything that legally binds them to release water. So there is talk of armed conflict. There's talk of war. Now, the thing about that is Egypt does not have a strong military in comparison to Ethiopia. So they don't really have there's nothing they can really do about their circumstance. They're just kind of fucked. Now, what that leads us to is other countries getting involved. So that's where we're really talking about some crazy shit, where other countries step in and say, hey, you can't treat treat Egypt this way. And then another country says, actually, they can treat Egypt that way, that kind of thing.
It's like World War III.
Right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go as far as World War III, but it definitely does seem like it could lead to the genocide of Egyptian people. You cut off someone's water supply to a whole.
The Nile River is all they've got out there.
Yeah. That's there's not much that they can do for themselves at that point at all. Right. Livestock's dead, which is their food source. Their water source is gone. Their crops are gone.
Yeah.
It's literally all they have, which could lead to mass genocide for sure.
Yeah.
Possibility.
It's one of those things where it's, you know, it's one of the, that's the craziness of bureaucracy and governing area, because you have to entrust in a people to not screw over another people, you know.
Yeah.
And then you got to say, well, who's got the right to say yada yada yada? Well, I mean, technically, the river runs through your borders, and everybody understands that that's your part of the country, and that's your part of the land, and that's your river. You technically can do whatever the fuck you want to.
This is
So,
an issue I've actually kind of been looking at here recently quite a bit, and the argument on the Ethiopian side seems to be like the Nile River doesn't belong to just Egypt and Sudan, like it belongs to all of us. So if we want to dam some of the water, what's wrong with that? And in Egypt and Sudan have even been really cooperative, saying, we don't have a problem with you building a dam and conserving water. It's
right. They want some kind of backing in it, and I mean, it's understandable.
They just want assurance. They just want assurance that they're not going to run out of water.
And it's understandable. The problem that you run into with that is who's to assure that? The UN.
Right. That's what we're talking about.
And
really.
then it turns into a political agenda, and then it's like, well, if somebody's got an issue with them for some other reason, or something pops off over here with some other completely different reason, then
when
we bring that to the world stage, it becomes a different ball game.
It's definitely seeming it would seem harmless, especially with them agreeing to it and everything, but it seems like there's some underlying ill intentions.
Yeah, why can't they just sign something?
Yeah, there's a reason that they're not.
Well, I mean,
there's definitely ill intentions.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it look bad, but at the same time, we don't know. We don't know what they were presented with to sign, because just like our laws that get passed, everybody's like, why didn't they sign that bill? And it's like, well, you didn't see the 900 other fucking bullshit things that were in that bill. Yeah, it legalized weed, but it also legalized this, and it allowed this, and it allowed this,
I think Schoolhouse Rock sort of ruined the idea of a bill for everyone, thinking it's one piece of paper that's signed.
Yeah, and so when you got a treaty or an agreement or something, it's probably more than that. It's probably they're saying, look, we'd sign it, but we want it on terms that aren't what y'all are showing. Who knows what kind of shit.
Right. So then that's how you get it delayed for 10 years.
Right.
Like they just been bullshitting for 10 years.
Yeah.
Which is politics.
Right. And then, then you got them saying, look, we've delayed this for 10 fucking years and we need power.
Mm-hmm. I should have elaborated earlier.
Y'all won't let us have nuclear fucking power, so then you get into that argument.
I should have elaborated earlier. They're trying to dam the water. I think they're actually filling it now. It was either this month or next month they're going to start filling it. But the reason they're damming the water is for power, for electricity. It's not
for hydroelectric.
So which way does the Nile run?
So what's interesting is Ethiopia is here. And then, well, I guess it depends how you look at it, right?
But it runs up. It's the only river in the world that runs up.
Okay. So in terms of travel, we're talking about Ethiopia at the top of where it comes in. And then you have Sudan that's like down here. So Sudan's actually close enough that they benefit from this hydro farm from Ethiopia's water. But they're also downriver. So it's kind of a catch-22 for them, where it's like they might lose water, but they also get this power from it,
So they benefit from it, but also they could run into a drought because of it.
They benefit from it.
What they're saying is
they have the same concern that Egypt does with it.
Yeah.
But
if they run it and everything's fine, there should be no problem. If the fucking river drops one day drastically out of nowhere, it could really fuck them all up.
Egypt.
So why don't they just pull a fuck you and dam it before it gets to them? It would really fuck them up and be like, we'll release our dam if you sign the paper.
Ethiopia is at the top.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying it was Egypt.
Well, I'm sorry. It's confusing because it is technically Egypt is technically at the top.
Yeah.
But in terms
the
of
river's running that way because it's on the other side of the equator.
In terms
Yeah.
of water
Flows
flow,
too.
though, Ethiopia's at the top, and then Sudan's close by, but then Egypt's way down here at the bottom. So they just get fucked on the situation. They don't get any of the benefits of this.
Yeah. Huh.
So that's the situation. Yeah.
Well, that's what I meant. Why doesn't Egypt just dam it down there so they're not getting water upriver? And just telling them, go fuck yourself unless you sign it.
Right, because Egypt is downriver.
Egypt is Egypt is up on the
Okay,
globe, but it's
okay.
the river's flowing up as
Gotcha,
far as our
It's really
perspective.
confusing.
It's the other side of the equator, so it's going.
It's fucking with me.
Yeah,
But I understand what you're saying.
they're above but downriver.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
So,
but yeah, there's that.
And they're afraid that if some horrible drought hit and the Nile dropped, then the dam would really drastically affect the water.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that goes back to Ethiopia would just have to be some cock knockers and be like, you know what, fuck y'all. There's a big fucking shitty drought that happened out of nowhere, and we're just gonna leave it locked up because all you gotta do is open the motherfucker up.
Exactly.
So I think there's a lot more underlying. I think that from what my spitballing perspective, the way I've historically seen those nations act, I imagine that Ethiopia is not really being that aggressive about things and has probably been very cool and trying not to piss people off, but they are probably getting hit with some weird fucking treaty, and they're
at the same time,
we don't mind this, but y'all are trying to put some bullshit in here that yada yada, because that's how this fucking all those damn countries do. They always try to.
Ethiopia really needs that dam also. They
that's what I'm saying.
Benefit from it. It's not like they're a wealthy country.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So Ethiopia is trying to get themselves up.
They're trying to just.
They don't want to make any enemies.
Well, if that's the case, why not just rewrite their own version?
Right. That's not, and I've always said that too.
That's
Who
true.
knows? And that's what I'm saying. Who knows if they did? Who knows? That's what I'm saying. We don't know.
Yeah.
If they did, that might be going on right now.
Actually, I haven't looked at a map. I'm not sure, but
we don't know. We only know what some news reporter that decides to look into that story tells us all the way over here. So, there's so much bureaucracy.
Like I said, I still feel like there could be, I could just be overthinking, but I really feel like there's some kind of underlying ill will with this because Egypt's been under attack for how many years now?
I can see that too.
They're definitely the target of majority of attacks in that area.
Right.
So if this is another attack, it wouldn't surprise me.
Right. Now, Ethiopia, though, is not known for being
no.
An aggressive nation. So but like you're saying, but it's probably in the paperwork. It's probably some weird.
And we don't know who Ethiopia side with, or even if they're not sided with them, they could be, hey, we'll shit on your country if you don't.
Right.
In the world we live in,
water supply.
The unfortunate reality is when you're talking about toppling a country, something big enough that could destroy Egypt, even if it's a third world country, the unfortunate reality is once it's on the world stage like that, other parties get involved. They just are. If there's a power struggle, other people do get involved. So
it used to be us.
So when we talk about motivation, why are these people doing these things? I mean, we have no idea whose gun is to whose head, who's got pressure on who,
It's it could be something to do with the Palestinians. They could have something along because think about it, during the whole Gaza Strip shit back in 2014, 2015, something during that era. They could literally, if they got their water supply cut off, the Palestinians could come in and take whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
You're just attacking a crippled country at that point.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do to defend yourself.
Yep.
So, but like you said, we'll never know.
It's a volatile place over there.
Yeah.
Well,
gentlemen, we done it. We did the thing.
Oh yeah.
I hope we didn't scare Alice too much this time.
Yeah, I think she clocked out. She looks pretty tired. Let's say goodnight to Alice. Good night, Alice.
Good night, sweetie.
Good night. Sweet dream.